Thank you for joining the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston for our weekly online Ministers Forum. I'm the Reverend Dr. Colin Bossen, Senior Minister of the congregation. These programs are conversations with community organizers, scholars, religious leaders, artists, and others about how we can collectively address the present crises. Their purpose is to offer members of our community and all who wish to join us online science-based resources and liberation-oriented inspiration to get us through these difficult times. Today I'm joined by Sadé Perkins, the founder of the Freedmenstown Farmers Market. In the interest of full disclosure, Sadé and I are dating. We'll be discussing the market, Black agriculture, and the past and future of Freedmenstown. This is the second in our occasional three-part series on Freedmenstown. Sadé, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So I thought we could just start out by talking about what is the Freedmenstown Farmers Market.
Well, it's a weekly Saturday market in the historic Freedmenstown district, and the purpose of it is to help close the food desert gap in the area.
So what is a food desert when you say it's the food desert gap in the area?
Well, a food desert is basically any area that doesn't have a grocery store or any type of food establishment within a mile radius. And there's really no grocery stores in the area, no corner stores or anything like that. So I'm just trying to do my part and trying to help, assist in that.
Right, and I think I know a number of our members and friends of the congregation have been to the farmers market, and in terms of the food desert, I think that one of the things that I find striking about it is that the farmers market is literally across the street from, or catty corner from, a grocery store that was closed or is currently closed and is actually in a fenced-in vacant lot. So it's sort of dramatically, like the vibrancy of your market is dramatically counterposed by the sort of symbol of the fact that Freedmenstown, until your market started, was this real food desert. So what makes for the Freedmenstown farmers market different from others farmers markets?
Well, the fact that I like to focus on African American cuisine, Southern cuisine, and then also Mexican American cuisine, Tex-Mex, things like that. I focus on Black and brown vendors, so anything from Southern pralines, and I'm gonna have a gumbo lady here this weekend, so I'm excited about that. Things from 7-Up cakes and micheladas and street tacos and boudin and crawfish and things like that. I like to try to keep the market centered around those types of African American foods.
It sounds like one of your real central roles or central missions is kind of preserving and extending Black and brown businesses in this area, this economic food desert. And do you think that there's a special role for Black agriculture within sort of the food desert and the food market? I know that the church, for instance, has partnered with a couple of the different produce vendors recently who were wiped out by the Arctic storm. And so, what's the sort of special relationship or special role you think of Black agriculture having with the market?
Oh, absolutely. It's like a circle of life type situation. The fact that they are farmers and gardeners and they have a place to sell their produce and things like that, and then that helps the market, obviously, and then we feed back into them, and it just goes back and forth. So they're extremely important. I do want to focus on Black farmers and gardeners just because it's an area that there hasn't been a lot of focus on. So the fact that you guys have also helped with the gardens and the farms has been tremendous. Like, it's really been exciting to get back out there and to replant after that devastating winter storm. So we definitely appreciate you guys helping us out. And then they'll help the market by bringing those things to the market, and then around and around we go.
Yeah, I like the sort of cycle of life metaphor there. And I think, Black agriculture, I mean, we've talked about this a lot, right? Black agriculture has this sort of very particular place in the South, and that one of the things that it has been really decimated even more than kind of white family farms over the last 80 years, 90 years. And so it's really kind of important on just a lot of cultural levels, let alone not alone economic and ecological levels, to be maintaining sort of these lifeways of Black agriculture and foodstuffs. I mean, I think I see that at the market when there's a lot of foods there that like I've not really run into in the past. I mean, being a Yankee, of course, that's true of a lot of things. But I know you have like Kool-Aid pickles, which I'd never heard of before, and never had a praline. It really is it's sort of a real expression of kind of the Black agricultural and culinary traditions. To that end, I mean, I thought, so you organize this on a weekly basis, and the market is just, you've really only been doing it, so it's what, November, right?
Yes, late November, November 28th was our grand opening.
Right. How do you kind of organize this? Like, what's sort of take us through kind of a weekly process of how do you recruit vendors? Like, in particular, how did you get connected with the Peaches brothers, who are sort of your central Black central farmers?
Well, when I first started and I was just looking for vendors, I was just scouring Instagram and going off of hashtags and things like that, and just looking for people, and they responded, thankfully, because it's been really hard trying to find produce, period, but then specifically Black farmers and growers.
And also pounding the pavement. I mean, right, like you live in Freedmenstown, which is how you knew it was a food desert to begin with, and you're connected to some of the other community organizations there, right? Like the market is sort of a collaboration between you and the Freedmenstown Association, right?
Yes, absolutely. With their help, we've been able to, secure the lot that we're in and hold the market every week. So we're definitely, appreciative of the Freedmenstown Association being able to be that host for us.
So can you tell us a little bit about the Freedmenstown Association? I know that like the church worked with them, for instance, or worked with you all to distribute water, but what is the Freedmenstown Association?
Well, from what I know, they've been around for over 40 years. They've established affordable housing in the area. That was like one of their biggest goals, establishing affordable housing and just looking after like the elders and holding after school programs and just all sorts of things. They've really been involved in the community.
And they were started by somebody named Lenwood Johnson, right?
Lenwood Johnson was one of the founding members. He came around in the 80s, I believe, and his big contribution to Fourth Ward was saving the Allen Parkway housing complex, which is pretty great because of the area that it's in now, that it's really heavily gentrified. So the fact that there is still affordable housing, however little it may be, it's still there, and that's a real testament to his legacy.
Well, so what do you kind of think of, what are you thinking of as the future of the market? Like, so actually, and tell us how much it's grown kind of over the past 4 months, because I think that this is really, remarkable. You started with how many vendors?
I think our first market, I might have had like 12 vendors or so, 12 to 15 or something like that. I think maybe only 12 showed up because it rained, and yeah, it was it was a crazy day.
If you notice on her page, she always say, come rain, come shine. When it's raining, you don't think nobody will be here, but the community be out here in the rain, in the cold. When it was cold, they were still out. So they're really close knit.
Yeah, she coaxed me out of retirement. I'm like, I don't do that anymore. She's like, see, I need you. I'm like, fine.
But we were able to get it off the ground, and it's grown from 12 vendors to over, I think our last market we had about 40 vendors.
Wow.
I know.
So 3 times. So it's grown in 3 times the size in in just, what, 3.5 months?
Yeah, word is really getting around, and people are really into supporting Black and brown businesses, and then also female-led businesses as well. A lot of the vendors are females, so people are just really into the movement of supporting small businesses, or what I like to call these businesses micro businesses, because I think that they're smaller than than what you would think a small business is. A lot of these people, they literally are just the tent and suitcase and whatever they have to sell out of it. And that's definitely smaller than what you would think of a small business to be. So, the fact that I'm able to do what I can to help the vendors make money and help their families, as well as assist in closing the food desert gap in the area, and providing access to the people in the area to fresh foods and things like that, I'm really proud about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty remarkable, right? You created a space where all these people, especially in this economy and in this pandemic, can come and have their what you're calling micro businesses in a COVID safe environment, and actually, hopefully kind of make ends meet in a way that, well, I mean, given the unemployment rate and everything that's going on, probably wouldn't have been possible otherwise. And a lot of them do it under what is it called? Is it called the cottage industry law?
Yes, people who do like the cooked foods or jams and things like that, cookies, things like that. That's under the cottage industry. So
how does that work exactly?
So basically, the cottage law is for small batch items, such as, like I said, jams or cookies, things like that. And it's basically just a way to where people who are, once again, micro businesses, they don't have to go through the whole rigorous process of the FDA and having, all of those people come and look at your food and all that or whatever, just for something that's just a mom and pop, real small, like a bake sale, something like that. There's no reason to call the food inspectors for a school bake sale, and that's pretty much what it covers those people under. But as they get bigger, and if they decide to get bigger and grow, they would have to adhere to other certain food laws. Like my chefs, all of my chefs who work at the market or whatever, they adhere to the food laws because they're already chef certified, and they know what to do.
I see. So, but like some of your bakers, for instance, or this is like, it's called the cottage law because literally people are like making this stuff in their kitchens, right? They're not doing it in commercial kitchens, and so I mean, really, it's a venue for people who might not have otherwise the ability to have any kind of business at all, to have a place to sell their wares and to provide for the community.
Right.
Yeah, I guess you've talked a little bit about kind of some of the vendors that you have, but are there any that you'd kind of like to highlight in particular that you think are like particularly interesting, or because you have kind of one of the things that I think is neat about the market is it varies, right? You have some core vendors and you have some folks who come back occasionally or whatever, but are there any vendors that you are particularly excited about or want to highlight in particular ways?
That's something that I love about the market as well. It's always a new market every Saturday. It's never the same exact vendors. Like you said, we do have our core anchor vendors, but there's always just a rotating list of different vendors, which it just makes it more exciting because you never know what you're going to find.
I have a fried rice with, vegetables and a nice sweet glaze.
But I've been extremely excited about our duck egg vendor, who's been coming recently. We've been making all sorts of yummy custards and things like that with the duck eggs, which has been really exciting.
How like with a chicken egg, you have to like move it around. And, nope, you just let it sit. Flip it.
And she one of the things that's neat about her, right, is she is actually like hyper local agriculture. She's
right.
Like right inside of Houston, right? I mean, she's not like the Peaches Brothers farm is out in Rose Sharon, but
right.
I don't remember what the duck egg vendor's name is, but she's like literally in the city of Houston herself, right?
Yeah, I think she just has the ducks in her backyard or something. So there's her, who else? JJ Sweet Delights.
Would you like to try a sample this morning? We have some CBD
Sure.
lemonades. We have, I think this is our watermelon, strawberry, peach ginger, and blackberry.
I really appreciate her because she makes the charcuterie boxes, which are really tasty and yummy. She also does, what is it, like chicken and waffles and all sorts of, freshly cooked things at the market, and as well as Fork and Time, them as well, because you had the vegan ceviche.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was actually kind of like ceviche in its flavor. It was hearts of palm and avocado and lime juice and some stuff. It was pretty good.
It looked really good. Like the pictures are just amazing. So yeah, just being able to have all those different things there, the cooked food as well as the non-cooked food, the fresh produce and things like that. Yeah, it's just really exciting to have all those things there.
What would you say about the market's role in kind of building Black economic power? Because I feel like this is, you've made a real point of making the market, I think, pretty consistent with the history of Freedmenstown, which is being an important place for Houston's African American community. And what role do you kind of see it playing in helping people build, some kind of economic power or autonomy for themselves?
Well, I do hope that, it's able to help people get their businesses started, help them build some generational wealth. I appreciate our kid entrepreneurs who come out, the parents who are teaching their kids about business and how to build wealth and the importance of earning a dollar, and the feeling that it makes you feel when you make something, when you're able to sell that, and just the whole thing. So yeah, I do think that it'll be a staple in the community. At least that's what I hope. In the coming years, for sure, it'll be here and continue to grow and continue to help other entrepreneurs jumpstart their businesses as well. I hope for this to be a landing base for businesses to get off the ground and for people to test the waters and see what works and see what doesn't, and then perfect their products and continue to grow themselves.
And so one thing it seems like that you and I have talked about is the fact there are also already some sort of businesses or ventures kind of spinning off from the market, like a bike tour, for instance, that happens every once a month. Is that right?
Yeah, the bike tour happens once a month. I think they were already going before the market started.
Uh-huh.
The walking tours are new though,
Okay.
and that's something that's spinning off from the market, and I'm extremely excited about that because that's being led by the vice president of the Freedmenstown Association, Sharonda Johnson. She'll be doing the walking tours, and you'll be able to just learn the history of the area, and it's just so much history. It runs so deep. You could really have several different tours, and you could still learn something new.
It's a pretty remarkable tour. I went on it 3 weeks ago, actually with a group of folks from First Church, because y'all have been very generous to kind of donate that as one of our auction items. And one of the things that was remarkable about it actually was both sort of the deep history of Freedmenstown and the way it has been sort of consistently at, I don't know what the right word is actually. There has been a consistent effort to do sort of land grabs in Freedmenstown on the part of developers. So Sharonda talked about all the churches that had been burned down in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And one of which is now a really beautiful city park. I don't remember the name of it, but you've taken me there a couple of times, which is in the shell of a church that was burned down. And she has a sort of really upsetting story about when the church burned down and how there were supposedly, I guess, bulldozers sort of from some developer that were like right behind the church as it was burning.
Right.
And so you really get a sense of kind of like what the tensions are around this neighborhood and its sort of deep, deep history, because it's got these, you know, the amazing brick roads. Actually, I think Zion talked about Zion Escobar from the Freemenstown Conservancy when she was on the forum about the bricks. But you and Sharonda recently had a whole thing with the bricks where you were trying to preserve some of them that were about to be torn up by a developer.
Yes, Sharonda actually discovered a sidewalk that was still buried underneath the ground. It was I guess a sidewalk. I think that they said that it might have been placed down like maybe in the 80s or maybe a little bit before that. But they weren't the original bricks from the road. That's one thing that we found out for sure. The bricks were from Coffeyville and from Kansas City.
What do you think of kind of as the future of the market? Like you sort of hinted at that, but kind of how do you see it unfolding over the next year or two?
Well, I definitely see us continuing to grow. The market has picked up a lot of buzz and a lot of excitement surrounding it, which is great. So I definitely see us growing. I hope to continue to grow out in other ways as well. Like we want to have a chili cook-off in June for Juneteenth. So we'll be doing a Freedmenstown chili cook-off, and hopefully it'll just be a first of many. It'll be an annual thing, so we'll continue to do it.
So kind of, can anybody enter the chili contest cook-off? Like, who's that going to be for?
Yeah, anybody can enter it. And I was thinking about having, maybe categories for meat and non-meat, but may the best chili win, basically.
What else would you like to tell us about the sort of the market and Freedmenstown?
Well, I guess the only thing I would like to say is, to tell everyone in Houston to come and support and shop local. You never know where you're going to find. It's always a different market every week, and that's extremely exciting, especially for you treasure hunter type people out there. And just support Black-owned businesses.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Sadé, for joining us. And for those of you who are with us for the first time, let me say a few words about Unitarian Universalism. We are a religious tradition that celebrates the possibility of goodness within each human heart, the transformative power of love, and the clarifying force of reason. We believe we need not think alike to love alike. If you found this video to be helpful, please consider joining us for our weekly online worship service. It's posted each Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Central. Features music and prayers in addition to a sermon. This week, our assistant minister, the Reverend D. Scott Cooper, will be preaching. Thank you to our staff for making this video possible. It was produced by Christian Holmes. Amla Viscara assisted with the editing. We'll see you all online soon, and in person as soon as we can gather again. And please remember that no matter how isolated you feel, we're all in this together.